Grand Rising loves. This is the altar spread for the collective today. So the sacred geometry that showed up is the crossing over. It's actually the expanded fruit of life, and you can even see the hexagon shape in the background. But what this actually talks about is the crossing over. So it can be an actual loss through death, or it will be the transition into a new version of yourself. So spiritual death. And so what this actually talks about is drawing on your soul knowledge, because we have been here many times, to actually move through the transition to make it easier, to not resist the transition, and to know that even loss through death is a graduation, and it clears space. And so that's the abundance of the human experience, because it keeps us in check, right? It keeps us in check that we are here for a limited time in the human experience, but we are infinite beings. And when you are getting to share space with someone in a specific way, really honor them when you're sharing space with them. Honor them in a way that's reverent and heart-centered and pure intent. So I love how these messages keep coming up in different ways, because intent is still the biggest thing, right? You have to correct that in order for us to be creating our unity consciousness, or return to unity consciousness. And we are co-creating this. And so move through the transition and know that that everything that happens for the betterment of your soul. Everything happens for the betterment of your soul. Everything happens for the betterment of your soul. And so this is when you say, not that it's happening to you, but it's happening for you, and really start to pay attention to the things that are happening and allow yourself to be propelled through the human experience, because you have decided every scenario that you experience. You have pre-chosen all of it. And so Time Master has shown up in the reverse. Now, Time Master talks about time being an illusion, and we all know this, right? There is no past, there is no future, there is only now. Everything is happening now in real time, and if you allow yourself to escape through past or future thinking, you are stuck in a programming and loop of the intellect and ego. It's the ego and intellect that store data. And unless it's clear, then your third eye is not opening, you are not being present. And people do that literally as a bypass, as a drug. You allow the intellect to loop you through past and future thinking. But it's also because you are portraying someone else's version of you. And so it's like that's where the script is stored. And so if you think before you speak or think before you act, it's literally like you asking how really uber religious people would say, what would Jesus do? You see the bumper stickers all the time. You're like, what would mom do? What would dad do? So yeah, ew, right? So Time Master showing up in the reverse says, you have a feeling that you are running out of time, that you never have enough time, that you are racing against time. Any of those feelings are because you are portraying someone else's version of you and you're not being present. When you are being present and in the now, that's when you know with divine clarity that the experience is infinite and it's happening in real time, and you can engage in real time. But when you allow yourself to escape, like using the intellect really is like a numbing. people think that it makes life easier, and really it keeps you looped in what I call the Sisyphus effect, where you're constantly pushing a boulder up the side of a mountain. It takes great effort. It's exhausting. It's excruciating. It's spiritually excruciating. And so Time Master is saying, be present and pay attention. And if you are feeling any of those feels, it's because you're not being present and you're not being yourself. And so moving through the transition of your human experience is about being present. And so really that's what ties in these two. Be present. Don't try to escape if something feels a little intense or excruciating. Kind of sit in the presence of it and feel all the feels, and that's going to really be what helps you move through it faster. And turquoise, again, I mean, we've seen turquoise so much. It's about wholeness, but it's really about integrating our parts. And so I read through what is in the book slowly to see if there's maybe something that I haven't talked about, so that I could bring it up. And if you look at the card, there's this beautiful rainbow serpent. See, he's getting his own tail. That image is in a lot of old petroglyphs. The snake, the serpent eating its own tail is about completion. It's about being whole. And it's also about our infinite nature. How there's a cycle to everything. So every ending is also a beginning. Every ending is also a beginning. Every ending is also a beginning. Every transition is a new beginning. Time is infinite. Every ending is a beginning, but that's what creates our wholeness. And so turquoise is all about integrating our parts and really feeling the feels. So like Time says, do you feel like you don't have enough time? Feeling all the feels so that you can be more aware of what you are repressing. Because the events that show up, because everything is divine timing and everything is designed by you to better your soul, for the betterment of your soul, pay attention to the feels. And when the feels show up, you get to integrate a greater part of yourself and become whole. Because it's not about staying in the loop of duality thinking and separateness. It's about saying, I am whole, and loving every single part of yourself. And then Puello showed up. It says it's the guardian of the Anumakwa. And so what this actually talks about is also transition. That sometimes we have to move through great darkness to refine ourselves. And all of our experiences do not define us, they refine us. Like I said, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Does not define you, it refines you. And you are guarded through that. So this card talks about moving through transition, but being divinely protected in that. So don't have fear moving through even a death, because you are divinely protected. And everything will bring you back to your highest good. So even if it's imminent death, and that can be symbolic death, spiritual death, even physical death. I have known many people to have actually physically died and come back from that. Myself included, being very, very close to that once. And recognizing that I've given myself an exit point, and I had come back from that. It was very powerful. But this, I always have known to be true, that I am divinely protected through all of those deeper and darker transitions. So really the common pulse of today's spread for the consciousness is to let yourself move through this transition, but to make it easier would be for you to stay present and really love and integrate all of your parts, to know that you are going to be whole through it and at the end of it as well. And you're whole right now. You just have to remember and hit backspace delete on that programming and stay present. Stop time traveling to the past and future in your mind incessantly, keeping yourself present, and then you'll realize that you have more than enough time for everything. So that's the spread for today. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.